Ah, there we go. Now we're live. We are live right now, and I'm wearing my Silencer Shop shirt because why wouldn't I be? Because it is their case, along with GOA, that has brought us to the point where we are. I am joined by our friend right here, Mr. Flying Rich himself. How are you doing today, Rich?
Good, Crumpy. This has been a very big topic among friends, family, and the internet folks.
The internet in general has have been talking about what we're going to be talking about today. Let me just fix that.
Now, should we
What
be calling the White House and the AG, the
uh
DOJ?
I don't have any contact with those guys.
No, but I'm saying I've seen like Jared Guns and Gadgets. He posted numbers for the White House and
Oh
the
yeah,
DOJ.
we definitely should be. But let's go ahead and get to it. All right, first I'm going to handle this question. If we're one of the states a part of the plaintiffs, is that state covered? And what I can say to that is maybe, maybe not. So unfortunately, that is very uh, a gray area. If you're out of the Fifth Circuit and you are a GOA member, are you covered? You are covered. That is not in doubt. All right, so let's go ahead and break what we're talking about because I've been talking to people over the weekend since Friday-ish, maybe a little bit earlier, about what is going on inside the DOJ. And now a lot of people are reporting it. And why are you
Sorry,
looking?
I had a stale copy paste. I'm getting the phone number for the White House.
Okay. Okay, so a lot of people are reporting it, but I am the source. So I will, but I am the guy that goes to the source.
You are the science. Is that what you're saying?
I am the science. I'm the most famous person in the world. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the debate going inside the DOJ, and I'm going to link a article for everyone out there. If you want to read it, you can read it. I broke it on AmmoLand yesterday, and it is really going crazy. This has been confirmed by. But usually, I say if we have three independent sources, we're good to go, right? I have more than three now that all have confirmed this. And this is what's going on. There is a debate within the DOJ on whether to appeal and ask for a stay, and the Silencer Shop Foundation versus ATF. That is the case in Texas that knocked down key provisions of the NFA. The judge stayed the decision until the 12th to give time for the federal government to appeal and ask for a longer stay.
So the 12th is Wednesday, and basically, I would say a minute after midnight, if nothing happens, you're free to go, and I'm not
Well,
going to give you any
well,
bad ideas.
well, I would say that the ATF is working on guidance right now. We'll get into all that in a second.
Right, right. That's another part of the layered onion to peel.
Yes, okay. So, what is going on? There are two camps inside the DOJ. The first camp, which is made up of mostly career members of the DOJ, are saying we are obligated to defend federal law to the bitter end, basically,
No matter how bad it is.
no matter how bad it is. So that camp wants to get involved and keep on fighting. There is a second camp inside the DOJ that says we're under no obligation to defend an unconstitutional law, and the courts have decided the NFA as applied to SBRs, SBSs, suppressors, and AOWs for GOA members, because the other cases, we'll get into those in a second, uh, have been ruled unconstitutional.
So this was part of the big beautiful bill, and as of January 1st this year, it's a $0 stamp for suppressors, AOWs, short barrel shotguns, short barrel rifles.
Yeah. The one big beautiful bill was just passed through reconciliation, lower the tax stamp from $200 to $0. According to the United States Constitution, a tax must have a revenue generating purpose. And by lowering it down to $0, the tax doesn't have a revenue generating purpose, so therefore it is unconstitutional. And the Supreme Court already ruled that the NFA is absolutely tax law. Now, the federal government tried to say there is still a tax. That was the special occupancy tax, the SOT tax, and the judge denied that. So, getting all that out of the way, the two camps in the DOJ is appeal and ask for a stay, which is mostly career politicians, not politicians, career DOJ bureaucrats, and the other is let it go. Usually the DOJ, when it comes to stuff like this, operates with some level of autonomy from the White House. But what we do know from our inside sources is the White House is well aware and they're involved in everything. Ultimately, the final decision is going to come down to Blanche at the DOJ. So,
the newly installed.
He was confirmed Friday, like Saturday morning, actually, around like 2:00 in the morning or something.
Oh, shoot.
1:30 something in the morning, between 1 and 2:00 in the morning. That's when his confirmation went actually through. So the ultimate decision is going to fall to him, and they can't use the Commerce Clause because the judge already said no. So what we did find out, though, is like the White House phones went down because people are blowing it up. And that is actually having a measurable effect on the debate.
And I don't mean to be a jerk about it. I am the biggest Trump fan here, but Trump's approval is in the crapper. So if he ekes out any bit of approval on this, that's a win for us.
Yeah.
It's an opportunistic buying time.
Yeah. So right now, because of the pressure put on by gun groups and the gun-owning general public, this is where we're at. Now, last week, if you would ask me, hey, are they going to appeal? And in fact, I think I said that on our live channel. I was like, I can almost guarantee they're going to appeal.
Right.
But it looks like we are inching closer to something that we all want. Not saying we're there. I'm not saying it's even likely, but we are closer than originally I would have imagined we would be right now.
Okay, I've got a number of questions. Are you done, or should I hold?
Well, I want to go to our super chat right here.
Yep.
And I'll let your Iconoblast or whatever. Also, by the way, you guys can do the Joules if you want. That does help out, and I think everyone gets 1,000 of them, and that gives you money if you use them, and you get 1,000 for free or something like that. But would they be so diehard to enforce if they had no QI? One wonders.
All right, what is QI?
I don't know. But another part I want to get to is the ATF is going to have to come up with some type of guidance. So this is not a nationwide de facto ban, but there is a large swath of the population that will be allowed, right?
Right. So, okay, we're assuming that if nobody protests
Qualified
12:01
immunity.
a.m. Thursday, oh, do you want to comment on that?
No, yeah, qualified immunity is a detriment to everyone. Okay. Um, okay, so I just want to get to who it covered and the further practical aspects here. Got a question here. Marco Polo says also the GOA is this for present and future members of GOA? The judge said for president and future members of GOA. That is there's no gray area there. That is laid out in the
Yeah,
judge's rule.
that's freaking hot,
Florida is not a member of the suit
right?
anyway, so that's for city
But I'm
member for
GOA member.
yeah. But if you're a GOA member or you're downstream, then you're covered. Well, here's the thing, right? A GOA does not have to turn over its membership roles. FRAC, which is Firearms Regulatory Accountability Coalition, which have a lot of manufacturers and everything, they don't have to turn over the registration roles. So, in all practicality, this is uh, this is going to, even though it's not a nationwide injunction, they're not going to be able to enforce it.
So let me ask for a couple of clarifying questions on that. So because there's no way to regulate who the members of GOA, FRAC, etc., all of the parties are, this is going to be applied basically an as applied.
Most likely.
Okay.
Most
Now,
likely, I can't say for sure, but that is the way that they're leaning. And PSA is part of the suit, so they're covered, and all their downstream customers are covered as well. So it's like all silencer codes a member too. So all those are covered. There is a caveat here that I want to bring up. Now, when Silencer Shop, GOA, FRAC, PSA, BNT, they all sued, right? There were some follow-on cases that the Citizens Committee to Rate and Bear Arms, whatever, the nonprofit of SAF and the nonprofit of FBC joined, but the reason why their members weren't covered is because they're nonprofits, not their main party. Now, an interesting thing is when GOA did their case and Silencer Co. Silencer Shop Foundation. So let's just say Silencer Shop Foundation versus ATF. They asked for AOWs, right? The consolidated cases, for some reason, and I don't know why, they did not include AOWs in their case. So AOWs were A-OK for GOA members, but not for, the Citizens Committee for the right to keep and bear arms, whatever.
wow.
The consolidated cases. I don't know why they did that. Thank you for all the jewels. Live life. I appreciate it.
So they split the baby.
Posh, thank you for your gift as well. Yeah. So they did. I don't know why. Maybe it was just an oversight, but they didn't ask for it. Yeah. Yeah. So they didn't ask for it, But we'll find out in a couple days whether they appeal or not. Now, I don't know if the ATF guidance is going to be ready, but
Okay, so explain to people what the ATF guidance would mean and like what we conjecturally think it means and what it probably will mean.
Okay, ATF guidance is will be how like gun shops that sell suppressors are going to move forward. They're going to give guidance.
So as to whether it'll be just like a 4473 transfer, like a
Well,
firearm.
it's going to be like a 4473 transfer.
Now, let me ask you a question. If I'm a PSA customer and I haven't bought a suppressor, does that mean I can click print on a suppressor at 12:01 a.m. Thursday?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of the guidance that we don't know. What are they going to do? If you're due away, and I'll get an AW without registration if it isn't challenged. Correct.
Okay. And the same thing for like fluid traps and all of that bit.
That's going to be where the guidance come in, because technically the ATF can say only GOA members or only, but it's not going to be really a good way to do that. Right now, from what it seems, when some clarification came out, it's only the officers and the states themselves, not the citizens of the states.
The heck? I thought it was. Oh, wow.
It's a gray area. No one's really sure, but that's the safest way to think about it right now.
Dude, I didn't even think about this. You mean I can have a briefcase MP5?
Yes.
Ooh.
Put an FRT in there.
Ooh. Okay, so one of the questions I've been wondering is, you're saying there's two factions in the DOJ. Are the parties, the warring parties, is it Trump people?
All them warring parties.
Come on, I'm doing this for drama. It's YouTube. Is it because are the people that are like, hey, we have no obligation to defend an unconstitutional law? Is that the Trump people?
Most of the people that want to defend the unconstitutional law are career employees.
So legacy employees.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of the people. Okay. I'm not saying all of them, but the majority of them.
So we do have a lot of areas where we're going to need guidance. So do you think? Oh, hold on a second. I'm going to have to drop off here for a minute.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. While Rich is doing that, the Missouri federal lawsuit, Brown versus ATF, which is the FBC SAF case, they do they do have a conference scheduled in 2 hours. We're not going to get a decision or anything out of this, but they have a conference to discuss what is going on in the case, and we should maybe get some heads up on what the federal government is going to do with that. So we'll get it. Overwatch Security Group says freedom doesn't need guidance. I 100% agree, but some gun stores are going to seek guidance anyway. So in states where private sales are allowed, we can buy and sell cans between us. You will be able to, as long as everyone's a member of GOA or whatever. Another interesting thing is there are certain states that have universal background checks, which requires all firearms to go through a background check, whether a private sale or if it's a commercial sale. But there are certain states that do have universal background checks that don't have any definition of suppressors in their state law, which means those will be exempt.
Okay, can I talk about suppressors, like DIY suppressors?
Sure.
So a lot of the legislation, or I shouldn't say legislation, a lot of the guidance from the ATF has been that if I buy metal parts to make a suppressor, aka a fluid trap, it's already a suppressor. and that's like go to jail. The only way that you can home manufacture a suppressor is if you 3D print one, because then nothing is already a suppressor.
Yeah, it's very interesting how they do that.
So, I'm assuming if you just had a lathe and a CNC machine and an ingot of aluminum, it's not a suppressor. So if you bored a tube and made a monocore with a CNC setup, I'm assuming that would have been covered under the current guidance by the ATF.
Yeah, it should be.
Now, if I, like, 1 minute into Thursday, does that mean anybody can click print and print a can without any going through a Form 1?
I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if the stay is lifted, then the stay is lifted. I mean, in the law for GOA member, the named plaintiffs are.
Because technically, on the cans that I got Form 1 approvals for, I've got to add this to it, but I haven't yet.
Yeah.
And the question is, I've got approval for 11 cans, and I printed some components. Do I not have to attach the serial number to them Thursday at 12:01 a.m.?
We'll have to see. We got another question here. What departments within the DOJ, ATF, or IRS would be arguing to support the law? The IRS isn't really doing anything. The ATF really isn't doing anything on this. It's the DOJ. When the ATF gets sued, people assume that it's the ATF defending themselves in court. That isn't the case, though.
So I had a text conversation with Stephen Stambolier, last week, and he told me it goes till midnight. So basically 1 minute into Thursday, if nothing happens, we're good. The other thing is, people have been saying, can Congress change this? Because Congress is the one that created the law. And Stephen's like, no, it's, ATF DOJ.
Yeah, it's ATF DOJ. Well, Congress
could create a new law.
They can create a new law, correct?
But they're not going to go and enter any kind of injunction in the case.
They can't.
They can't.
They can't. No, we got separation of powers, man.
Right. Because some people were hearing that from other sources, that Congress has the say here, and it's creating laws, yes.
Yeah, they would have to create a new law, and they don't. And they don't have the people that would create the law don't have either chambers of Congress or the White House.
Yep. So I'm very excited. Now, is there any kind of a poker tell that we haven't had a press release from the DOJ saying, yeah, we're going to squash this like a bug? Or
all this means is that they're probably still fighting behind it.
So does that mean we need to light up the phone lines? And
absolutely.
So these phone numbers that I'm just dropping,
call
the White House, call the DOJ.
Could re-add the tax, but they can't right now. They don't have that support to do it.
So, all right, here's the thing that kind of.
Let me just finish what committee choices are. It would have to go through the House Ways and Means Committee first, and the chair would have to bring it up. The chair of the House Ways and Means Committee is Jason Smith, and Jason Smith of Missouri, is a Republican out of Missouri, is on record saying that he agrees with the judge's decision. So,
okay.
As of right now, that's not going to come back up.
So here's always the thing that I worry about. Fine for us now with this current administration. If we go back to a Democratic administration, if it's not a court decision, they could just rewrite a law or put in new people in the DOJ or the ATF and say, oh, well, we got a problem with that, and change things around.
It would be too late by the time the new people get into the DOJ.
Right, but they could, I mean, we could be let's just say, hey, we're 3D printing cans without documentation. We're buying Temu fluid traps. 4 years into the future, there could be a Democratic administration and say all of that's illegal.
Well, they wouldn't be able to say all of it's illegal. They could re-add a tax, maybe, but that will get. It's going to be very tricky for them to do that. Once a court knocks it down, it's going to be very tricky. Not saying that they can't. It's just not going to be as easy as some people think it's going to be. I got a question here. So why only GOA members? The law should be the same for all people. I agree with you. There is a court case called Trump versus Casa that said that they can't do a universal injunction.
Can you explain the origin of Trump versus Casa?
Yeah, when Trump's EOs kept on getting, executive orders kept on getting overturned, there was a Trump sued, and it went up to the Supreme Court. It was called Trump versus Casa. And at the time, I'm like, dude, Trump has to lose this. This is going to hurt us. And certain people, I'm not going to name them, were like, oh, no, it'd be fine. Like, dude, this is going to be, this is going to hurt us in the end.
So what it was is the problem was that judges, and it could be a judge anywhere, like district court judge, could say, hey, this executive order Trump just wrote, I'm putting a stay on it nationwide.
Yeah, so Trump for Casa said they can't do that anymore, so there's no more.
And I think that's
so,
constitution.
Yeah, so really to those only immediate effect. And I know you're going to say, I think that's constitutionally right, but point to me where the Constitution says that.
Well, here's the whole thing. They're a judge of whatever this district is. If that was the case, why do we have a Supreme Court?
Point to me where you said the Constitution. Where?
Right. Where? Right, because if I own my house and my property, it doesn't mean I can cut down my neighbor's trees. I don't have rights to my neighbor's property to do that, even though I am.
Where do the state judges can't?
Well, I mean that's like saying, should a New York judge be able to affect things in Massachusetts?
Yeah, but where do they say that in the Constitution?
It doesn't explicitly say it, but it just seems logical to me that they're a district court judge for this district.
But you said the Constitution. But you said the Constitution said that. So where?
Okay, all right. That's where you're going. OCD. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Point well taken. I'm just saying logically. Let's say logically, not constitutionally, because you're a judge for this district. That means your decisions affect this district. That's why there's multiple districts and multiple judges in multiple districts. A judge from one district doesn't hear a case and set decisions for another district.
Yeah. I people say, okay, so it's violation of the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment, let's say, citizenship clause is there's a couple of different sections. Citizenship clause, due process clause, equal protection clause, which I think, not being able to issue nationwide injunctions kind of creates an equal protection clause issue here, especially in cases like this. Then you have, House of Representative seats,
Right. So equal protection means that laws should apply to everyone the same. Like there should be a carve out for politicians or police officers versus normal citizens.
Yeah, if you take an oath to the Constitution and start a rebellion or whatever, you can't hold public office. It confirms the validity of the federal debt, and that was because they were paying off the debt of the Confederates, by the way, and gave Congress the power to enforce the amendment. But I don't see anything in there that would justify Trump versus Casa.
Okay, so we did a whole rabbit hole here. And so the bottom line is, if you're a GOA member, you're protected. But very likely what's happened in the past in these cases, like the pistol brace, where an organization will get relief for their members, the ATF isn't going to check and figure out who's a
They
GOA
can't.
member
They
or
can't.
SAF member.
They
So
try to get roles before and from other organizations, and the court has knocked that down, so they
it,
can't.
it then becomes de facto is applied,
It's
as
going to be
applied.
de facto. Chances are it can become de facto because they can't do it.
So this is pretty exciting. Hey, and look, the time is ticking away. We're noon on Monday. We haven't heard boo. I would say just absolutely hit those phone numbers, make a call to the White House, to the DOJ, let them know that it's an NFA is an unconstitutional tax and it needs to be abolished as applied to individuals for suppressors, short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, and AOWs. Crumpy,
It's
you're muted.
facially, sorry, I hit the button. It's facially unconstitutional. That's what the court said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That you agree with the 5th District Court of Texas.
It's not the 5th District Court. It's the Northern District of Texas.
Northern District? Okay.
You're talking about, what is that?
I got work getting done on the house.
You're thinking of the 5th Circuit, which the Northern District of Texas is under. Yeah, even if they add back in the tax, it would create other issues. Yeah, right now there are so many calls on Saturday that the White House phone system, the PBX, crashed. The DOJ is being hammered too. Hey, and you know what? It worked to get the tax down to 0.
So this, unfortunately, I'm very unhappy with the capons in the Senate and in the House that call themselves Republicans. So it was the Senate parliamentarian, and they heeded their advice, not advising consent. These bunch of frickin' capons could have said, "Hey, yeah, we heard what you said. Tough.
It's only to advise. It's not to.
It's not advice and consent."
Drop the numbers again. Corn Pop. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate that. Keep those gems coming, by the way. But I think we're gonna get wrapped up here. If you like the work we do here, there's tons of ways you can support us. Patreon is one of the ways, and stuff like that.
Well, you can like, share, subscribe, of course.
And that's totally free. But other than that, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. Rich, you have a great day.
Thank you, Crumpy.
And everyone out there, you guys have a great day too. Thank you so much for watching. My name is John Crump, and this is Flying Rich, and you've been watching John Crump News, and we are going to get out of here.